Hello and welcome to Sutro Sidetalk, episode 195. I'm your host, Kamran Shushtar, and with me is
James Seelig.
We are here this week with probably a shorter episode than the previous ones we've had already. We're talking this week the last two, I guess you would say, big showcases from all the big gaming news from the last couple weeks. Ubisoft Forward and the Capcom Showcase. And each one, I guess both of them combined are shorter than both Summer Game Fest and the Xbox Showcase separately, which we had in one episode. So that kind of tells you what the length will be. This should honestly be pretty quick, easily less than an hour. I really don't think we'll take more than an hour at all.
Yeah. I'm honestly curious how long we'll even spend on Capcom, because there was really not much there this time.
We were going to start with Ubisoft and then go to Capcom, but we'll just see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Also, I'll apologize in advance for my hair. I don't really know. It seems fine right now, but ever since I cut it, it still thinks it's long. So the very front keeps like unfurling forward, almost like a Superman curl. But like it's a whole, it just keeps doing it every day practically. And I'm just like, there's like a strand that's just like, and I'm like, oh my God, please stop. And I put like other things in my hair and everything else. And it's still like half the time, it's just like, you thought that would stop me. And I'm like, oh my God, it thinks it's long, but it's not anymore. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Like, I don't know. I'm glad that they finally turned Juneteenth into a national holiday, because I actually get that off. So I had a nice 3-day weekend, a little bit extra sleep.
All right.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I had to finally message my doctor and be like, hey, so I've had like this cough for like over a month now with like all the stuff going on. What do I do now? Like, I already took all these different things and it didn't work. So hopefully I'll find something out so I'm not like talking and all of a sudden just like dying
right,
via on screen or audibly. But just a heads up, it is still continuing. We'll see. Usually like nights and mornings are the worst, and then like afternoons are fine. I don't know why, but we're just gonna get right into it and just Sutro Sidetalk. Every week we talk what we watch and play, and we're just doing the gaming news today for this week. Next week we'll be back with like movies and shows and games and whatnot. I'm not sure which one yet. I haven't really thought.
I still got to play Horizon Burning Shores, because I owe you that one.
So yeah, we'll have that one soon enough. Maybe this weekend or maybe next weekend. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, Demon Slayer's done. There's also that. Anyway,
okay. Episode of that I gotta watch.
Oh yeah, it's and
Dr. Stone. I've been keeping.
You should watch Stone. That new Demon Slayer episode. It's pretty good. I don't see anything else. All right, Ubisoft Forward, guys. We're gonna go through it game by game. Of course, like the previous showcases we talked about, not every game we might be interested in, so we might skip it over. They opened the Ubisoft Forward. I'll say right now, it was like an old E3 conference from like, I guess you'd say early 2010s, late 2000s, maybe even early 2000s, where they're like, what if we got live performers? We did all this crazy stuff. You had people doing Just Dance dances, talking about how it's going to be an Olympic esport.
That was wait, for real?
Yeah, that's why I was on there.
I thought they were just talking about like literally there's an Olympic sport of dancing, not an esport, whatever. Okay.
Maybe I could be wrong. I don't.
But
it's not worth finding out more about, because I wouldn't watch that during the Olympics anyway.
Now you mentioned this felt like an old conference.
Yeah.
That like Ubisoft would have put on years ago. Like that was the thing, of like them starting with Just Dance. And they didn't even show gameplay or anything. It's literally just like people dancing. You get it? It's a dance game. It's people dancing.
What else they gonna do?
Yeah, so it's like they don't really need to show anyone stuff, because in that game, I get it, it's not for me, but it is really impressive to me how much that game still sells to this day.
Remember SingStar on PlayStation with the microphone?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I wonder if that would sell now. I never heard.
I don't know. I mean, Guitar Hero.
Which generation did it fall off? I don't even remember when they stopped making it, to be honest.
But anyway, so that was them starting with a Just Dance performance and not gameplay. It was like, man, this feels like an old ass Ubisoft conference. Like
Yeah.
from back in the day.
It's okay. They only did it once, right? They didn't do it again later on in the show.
Oh man. Yeah, this show
But
was weird.
the first game we saw was Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. This is from Massive Games, the makers of Division 1 and 2, and it's launching December 7th this year. It was delayed multiple times. I'm not sure how many times it was delayed, but I've been waiting for this game, honestly. This was a game I was really looking forward to. It was one of my top 5 anticipated for this year. Originally anticipated for, I think, April, or maybe it was last year. I don't remember anymore, but we saw a lot of we saw gameplay. We saw the
Yeah.
world you're going to explore. There's different biomes that'll be around for the different environments, depending on what part of Pandora I guess you're going to be on. And the plot is very interesting. I was not expecting that plot.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you're not an avatar.
You're
You're
a
a
natural Navi.
full-blood. Yeah, you're a full-blood Navi that was being raised by humans,
You were all
potentially
taken.
to
You were
take
taken from
over.
your villages when you were stolen from your villages.
Yeah. And
And
I
yeah,
I I don't know how the being stuck in stasis for like 15 years is gonna factor into the story at all, but I don't know.
it's.
It's interesting.
I mean, it makes sense in terms of the time lapse of the movies.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when you're put in stasis is the events of the first movie during the battle,
Oh
and you're waking
yeah.
up basically during Pandora. I mean, during Way of Water, more or less, or maybe
Yeah.
before it. I'm not sure if it's during Way of Water or if it's before Way of Water, because I would
I
base
want to
that off
say
of
because
the
James
ages.
Sully's oldest kid was like pretty grown.
But that'd be 15 years. Was he 15 or was he older than 15? That's what I don't really know.
That's a good
Because
point.
his
Yeah.
Nathiam was the oldest.
Yeah.
I think it is supposed to line up with Ways of Water, though. Originally, it was supposed to come out at the same time, and then it didn't work out because if you notice a lot, they do
Man,
that.
that would have been really good timing if they could have gotten that done.
They're at least trying to line them up by year. Look at the both 2018 and this year. Both the animated Spider-Man movie and the game came out same year as well.
Yeah.
Is both the game and new movie coming out this year too. Though I don't think they'll be able to make a third Spider-Man game in time for the next movie next year. I think that's not going to happen. Maybe we'll get Wolverine and be like, "Hey, close enough, right, guys?"
Dude, I can't wait to see Wolverine in action when
Yeah.
it's finally revealed.
I mean, probably not until way after Spider-Man 2's done.
Oh
Not
yeah, yeah.
way after, but it
I
seems
mean,
like
Spider-Man's
they'll.
pretty soon. I already got it pre-ordered.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wait. Since I'm not getting
Yeah,
the collector's edition, there's no point in me
that's
getting
fair.
it
Yeah.
right now.
If I wasn't getting specifically that collector's edition, I wouldn't bother because there's no point.
Yeah. But the gameplay looked really crisp. The world looked really cool. I honestly am pretty hyped up for this game.
One thing I
Yeah,
Sorry, one thing I thought was really interesting about the gameplay, because it's first person and they seem to be trying to factor in all the Navi being really good at navigating just the trees and everything of Pandora.
yeah.
It struck me almost like um Mirror's Edge, because that was a first person parkour game,
Oh,
but
okay.
just it was very bland, basic environments. So the idea of Mirror's Edge on Pandora with guns and shit, and you can fly a dragon or whatever, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, that actually would be pretty cool. I'm gonna probably. I mean, luckily this is the end of the year game. This is This is coming out around
That
the same
too.
time Callisto Protocol came out this past year, where, or yeah, this past year.
I think it's December 6th, they said. It was
December
oh,
7th for. Yeah, it's
okay,
coming out
yeah.
it's basically coming out on Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh no.
Yeah. So which what came out last year during that too? It was something Japanese. It was mm, something came out. I forget what it was, but uh, I think it's going to be really cool, just in terms of world building. And
I hope
because
so, because
I've always enjoyed the Avatar stuff. I said, I've liked the stuff
yeah.
James Cameron works on for this kind of thing and what he's done for it. And I believe he had a good hand in the game in terms of
Dude, he
Like,
even showed up on screen when he was talking. They like showed off that
yeah,
game, and I was like, "Damn, they actually got James Cameron." I don't know why I find it funny he calls himself Jim Cameron.
that was weird. That was
I don't
weird.
know. I've never
Yeah,
heard that before, and I'm just like, Jim Cameron. Okay,
yeah.
sure.
I mean, what was always funny about his name, it's almost like if my name was more Americanized, it's just us, James and
Yeah,
Cameron, like that kind
Jim
of,
Cameron.
yeah. Oh my God,
Uh,
if we fused together, we'd be an award-winning filmmaker.
did like a Dragon Ball Z like fusion dance.
Oh, Go 10, yeah. Oh
Uh,
God. Form of James Cameron. Oh,
to the
be,
depths.
be
Uh,
careful, he's gonna raise the bar, but he might be a dick to you on set. I don't
Dude,
know.
that's like that raising the bar thing is literally one of the funniest things the South Park has ever done for me. I
Yeah.
don't know why. I just find it so funny that
And it was true. It was very
they
that was
took
like
a
one of the more accurate
phrase,
episodes also.
they took like a common phrase and were like, what if it was a literal physical bar?
And it's in the ocean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why James Cameron like recently did that super deep dive was for that to
That would have been
raise the
great.
bar.
God.
Uh,
Great times. But
uh,
yeah, generally looking forward to this game. I'm probably gonna get it day one. I'm really pumped for it. Will you be getting it or are you gonna skip it?
I'll wait till if I hear it has a good story and stuff, which is interesting because literally all of the like I don't know if we ever talked about the original Avatar when this because on this show. Anyway, when
It
Avatar
was
2 came out,
2009, bro. That
yeah.
we were leaving high school.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
So when Avatar 2 came out, I mentioned that like I liked that movie, but the thing I liked most about it was learning more about like different parts of Pandora, like the world itself. So I'd rather it just be like a nature show. So you would think that I wouldn't actually care about what the story is. I just want to live in Pandora. So I don't know. If I hear it's good, I'll definitely give it a shot. I just for whatever reason I'm not super optimistic. Maybe it's just because it's Ubisoft making it, but
Mm.
we'll see. I
It
don't know.
reminds me I still have to do all the DLC for Division 2. So that's another
Yeah, I
thing.
never got around to that
Yeah.
either.
Next up, X Defiant has an open beta. They showed like a sort of gameplay, but it was really just
It
like
was so funny. They just
it
had a
was
bunch of
content
streamers
creators
saying like,
playing.
"This game is great." And I'm just like,
Yeah.
take your word for it. I guess it doesn't look interesting at
We took
all.
clips of creators playing Rainbow Six Siege and put the audio into this.
That's the thing. I don't understand. If I wanted to play a Tom Clancy competitive shooter, I would just play Rainbow Six Siege because that actually looks interesting to me.
I think it's because the modes are completely like this is like Call of Duty-ish, I guess you would say, but
Yeah,
like
I think that's the
more
thing.
tactical or whatever. I
It's
don't know.
literally like Call of Duty, but somehow Tom Clancy-esque, and I don't understand how, but
It's called
uh,
Clancy. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
The
just
beta
like
is
it
gonna be
bothers
in
me
like two
that
days though. There's an open beta for it. So if we wanted to,
yeah,
we could check it out. I don't
yeah,
know if I really want to. Just because this game has never been interesting to me. This every single time I hear
yeah,
about this game, it's been why does this exist so far?
exactly. It feels like Ubisoft is exploiting the fact that they have the rights to the Tom Clancy name, and they're just like,
Not to mention he
yeah,
passed
just
away,
put Tom
so
Clancy. Yeah, like just put Tom Clancy's name on it. Some people will give it a shot
yeah.
because it's got his name on it and
Yeah,
feels exploitive
I
a little
think the
bit.
most interesting thing about it is that they canceled games like the Ghost Recon
Yeah,
Battle Royale game. They canceled multiple games that are all unannounced. We never knew what they were, but they canceled a bunch of games. I forget it was like between 4 to 8 games they canceled. But this
yeah, they're
remains.
having a hard time right now.
Yeah. And then they're banking something on this. Like I guess they think they're if they can enter
They think it
different
could win, I guess.
they feel like they can get into a different portion of the competitive market with this type of shooter, and I guess microtransactions and whatnot be the big pusher for it. But I personally don't see that happening with games like Rainbow Six and Counter Strike and Call of Duty already existing. Not to mention like other
Yeah.
more popular shooters now, like Overwatch, if you count that kind of thing. So yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you want to count Overwatch. That game is dying hard.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's fine.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
touch
Okay, I
Blizzard
could go
stuff.
on it for a while. It's bad.
Oh, dang. All right. I was never interested in Overwatch.
It
Prince
was
of
one of my
Per
favorite games until Blizzard ruined it.
Prince of Persia: The
Uh,
Lost Crown, coming January 18th of 2024. This is being made by Ubisoft Montpellier, which I believe is another French studio, so it's like
yeah.
in the fatherland of France. Uh, it looks really cool, actually. I was surprised by how
Oh yeah.
interesting it looks. The animation
This would probably
style
be like a
is,
day one for me
yeah,
because like I usually like this series and but like I've never played any of the side scrolling older ones. But do they as soon as you say Metroidvania, I'm immediately interested at least.
I think it'll be cool. The animation is, it's not my favorite type because there's certain
Yeah.
animations I'm always kind of like about, but it's interesting enough that I'm like, I'm down for this. I'm down for more of this world because it does seem like they're not going to like they're not straying away from all the, I guess, like the cool stuff we'd normally see. So I'm down for more of this kind of thing, and that you're playing as an immortal, I find is really still really cool.
Yeah.
Not being portrayed as a monster like in 300 for some reason, because I don't know what the hell Frank Miller was thinking. And yeah, the gameplay looks really fun. You said it yourself, Metroidvania, so that's already like it's gonna be a fun time. And they found a way to do it, I think, where, as a side scroller, I feel like it's more affordable to make a side scroller than it would be to make a fully 3D action
Yeah.
platformer.
I would imagine that they probably didn't have to spend nearly as much money on this one as they tried to spend on the Sands of Time remake,
And
but
how much do you
I don't
think they're
know.
gonna charge for this game? Is this gonna be a $70 game, or
I
is
thought
this
I
gonna
heard
be
it's
like a
only like a $40 game or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. I mean,
So
if
I
I
could be
mean that
wrong.
just shows kind of like, I guess, the development yeah, the development cost for it is they can afford to do that. I think this game will sell well enough, surely, for the fact that people that might be Ubisoft fans that like, I guess, single player stuff
It's listed for 50, but still,
that's
that's
still
not that
not
bad.
bad. That's really good. That's like PS2 price. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it'll do well, surely because a lot of people are starving for single player Ubisoft content that isn't bloated.
Also, just more Prince of Persia stuff because
Yeah.
there was that one PS3 game that they teased a sequel and that never came, and then the remake, which that is probably gone forever. Well,
Oh
yeah, I
yeah,
shouldn't say forever, but like the version we saw is
yeah.
definitely gone.
Also, this actually kind of makes me backpedal a little bit to X Defiant because I was going to say, meanwhile, Splinter Cell fans, they got to see Sam Fisher in X Defiant. And it made me realize, I'm like, oh, that's right. X Defiant is going to be kind of like Heroes of the Storm for Ubisoft, but a shooter version of that, where Heroes of the Storm, you have all the different like characters from all the different games that Blizzard has. This is going to be that for Tom Clancy, and I think even Ubisoft in general. I'm not too sure what
Yeah,
is.
it's an interesting idea, but I don't know. It just feels weird to mash all those different properties together.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think I'm correct. It was like it's not even oh wait, no, I'm thinking of Captain Laserhawk, but at least it's gonna be like Tom Clancy-esque of just like all the different Tom Clancy characters. I
Yeah.
don't think they'll spread into Ubisoft yet, but they always could, because I would not be shocked if they went, look, it's an assassin kind of thing. Which reminds me of that one time they did a Ghost Recon Assassin's Creed hoodie, and it was one of the coolest hoodies I've ever seen.
Huh.
And I missed out on getting it, and I regret it to this day. It looked really dope. Next up, Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. We got to see a little bit of it. That's that Netflix show that's coming. We talked about it a long time ago during one of the Geeked Week coverages we did when they were showing actually a bunch of different like Netflix animes based on video games. And this one's coming from isn't it Adi Shankar? He's the guy that did
Yeah.
Castlevania. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think this could be cool. It's not what I was expecting, because the
Yeah.
way it sounded like it was just going to be very Blood Dragon-esque, and it still is, but I was not like thinking there'd be a Assassin's Creed Frogman in it or anything like that. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that. That
Like
was a big surprise.
maybe I would be more hyped if I'd actually played Blood Dragon and had that like nostalgia for it or whatever. Um
I mean, it wouldn't
and
really do
yeah.
anything. Blood Dragon doesn't really have a big plot. It's just like do you like 80s? It's 80s the game. Pew,
Yeah.
pew. And then it's like you have a great song that comes out of it. But
Yeah.
uh,
I liked Castlevania. I don't know if what it is about the art style that they showed off for this like trailer, but it didn't hit for me. So I don't know. I might skip this one.
I'm hoping it'll be good. I mean, if I watched Dragon's Dogma and that was not good,
Oh, I didn't even
uh,
give that. I tried to watch part of one episode and it was like,
I
no, thank
went through the
you.
whole thing thinking it would improve, and it did not. It was the animation was not for me.
Yeah,
The
sometimes that can work, and sometimes it's done poorly.
yeah,
That style, the 3D style.
but this I'm hoping, since they did well with Castlevania, maybe they can do all of this. It doesn't look like I'm hyped or interested that much into it, but if it comes out, I'll watch. I mean, when it comes out, I'll watch it, check it out, and see how I feel when it actually shows up. I don't really. I guess I would say watching it now, I'm not really hyped at all for it, but I will check it out because I already have Netflix, and
Yeah,
it's coming from the same creator as Castlevania.
like if I hear people tell me it's worth a shot, like worth my time, then I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and it comes out later this year. Then The Division Resurgence, that is the mobile game. It's coming out also in the fall, and we got to see some gameplay of it, which is kind of cool. I've
Yeah.
already like pre-registered for both of their, I guess 2 out of 3 of their mobile things because they got uh Division Resurgence. They have the Tom Clancy Rainbow Six. I don't know if it's Siege specific or just Rainbow Six mobile, and then Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, which we'll get to in a bit. But this one I'm actually pretty curious about because it does seem like it could be a good time. It also reminds me that I never kept playing Blades, the Elder Scrolls mobile game, and it does make
Oh
me want to go
yeah.
back and kind of do more of that because I'm like, oh, that's right.
Well, I got like,
I know there was paywalls and shit,
well, it was
but
like I I like the idea of building up your own town again, but it did that very mobile game thing where it's like, hey, you could if you want to do this job for free, it's going to take 3 real days to get it done, or you could give us like $2, and I hate that shit.
I
So
know.
that's when I stopped.
If anything, I would use that as an excuse to be, well, now I don't have to play this for 3 days, and it gives me a break off that
Yeah,
game,
I
kind
know
of
that's
thing.
how it's supposed to go. Is at that point, if you want to play for free, you're supposed to just like set a task and then just like leave
Come
it.
back to it, yeah.
But I literally, if it's like any longer than a few hours, I will just forget.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what town it's supposed to be. I thought it would have been great if they made it Kvatch, like an
Oh, that would
Oblivion.
have been
That
cool
would
to
have made
rebuild
perfect
Kavash.
sense. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you're just rebuilding Kvatch. That makes the most
Man,
sense.
you should work at Bethesda and write for them.
I don't know about writing, but
No, I know
I
you'd
mean,
probably rather the sound division.
not even that. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make myself think I'm better than I actually am.
No, that's fair.
But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like, average fan person that just goes, yeah, what if you just did this? I don't know why you didn't, anyway. Skull and Bones.
Dude, it's such a funny. It's like a joke at this point. Like I straight up like I was watching this at work while I was like doing data entry or whatever it was. So I was just like listening and it was like, man, the song's pretty cool. And then it just like ends and they go on to the next thing and I was like, wait, did I miss something? Is that
No,
it? I thought that was like a prelude to, when it's gonna come out
no.
and like more gameplay maybe, but nope, it's just like, hey, here's a pirate song to remember we're
These are
doing a
the guys
pirate
that are
game.
doing some of the music for the game. And it was like, oh, okay.
uh,
And it's also like, I will only say, playing devil's advocate, that they've pretty much shown everything they need to for the game itself. The only
yeah,
issue now is, hey, get the game out. And because it's like, really, there's nothing else to do in terms of like showing us anything.
yeah,
It's like we had either play it ourselves, which they did an ask closed beta from August 25th to 28th. And that kind of tells you that maybe around then we'll get a release date for the game. I don't really know anymore.
maybe.
It's been,
It would be so funny to me if it finally comes out and people are like, holy shit, it's actually good. It's really fun to play.
I'm just because this is the game from Ubisoft Singapore. I don't know if they're like because I don't know. I'm like, will they be okay after this? Are they gonna like put out the game and give something like, great job, we're closing the studio? Like,
Dude, Ubisoft has like literally thousands of employees.
they have so many studios. I always forget because like they're kind of like Call of Duty studios now, practically, where they all work on like one game,
Yeah.
like Star Wars. But we'll get to that soon enough. Uh, you know, I guess we'll see in August if we feel like playing that beta. I still don't really care about this game anymore. The Crew Motorfest. I guess this is the third Crew game, and it's on Maui.
I got the impression it was just DLC for The Crew 2. Is it a new game?
It's a new game, and it's on Maui.
Wow, I totally missed that.
I think, yeah, because I never saw the Crew 2 on there at all. Yeah, it's a brand new game.
Dude,
So instead
at
of
least
cross
according to
country driving,
Google,
you're just on an island. But I think it's just a lot more focused, so it's probably scaled a lot more like in depth.
dude, Ubisoft claims they have 21,000 employees. Like
That
around the world.
explains
That's insane.
that explains layoffs. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Jeez.
But I think if there was no Forza Horizon games for cars,
Yeah.
maybe I'd check out the Crew. That would be the next interesting one, just because I don't like track games. I'd rather just do like kind of drive around type stuff, and this is
Yeah.
more, I guess, along the lines of that. But
First really liked the first one just because the whole shtick of that was the map was supposed to be like kind of a shrunken down version of the entire United States.
yeah,
Which
I love
that's
the idea.
pretty cool.
For some reason, I love the idea of just, yeah, you're gonna be driving across the country for 2 hours in the game, like in the real
Yeah.
world driving. I'm like, well, that sounds kind of fun. I don't know
But
why it
then
does, but
but then for some reason the shtick of the second one was like you could be a car or a boat or a plane. Okay.
I
So
don't
I don't
know.
know. I just wasn't that interested either one, so I'm not that interested in the third one.
Yeah, this one comes out September 14th of this year.
And yeah,
Um,
Forza Horizon is just so good.
I still
You
have to play
just play
5, and
that.
that's yeah. Then we're getting into the Assassin's Creed territory. Assassin's Creed Nexus VR for the MetaQuest 2, which I'm assuming it'll probably come into PSVR 2. Why wouldn't they
Uh,
want money?
right, yeah. Like
Unless
I feel
Meta
like
was
that could
like, we'll
either
pay you
be
more to make it exclusive kind of thing. It's one of the two.
yeah. I could see that game either being a really cool VR experience or like
Or a
one of the
flop.
worst things possible
Yeah.
because you're just like, oh, I'm so nauseous.
You
Uh,
get to play as 3 assassins in this one, Ezio, Connor, and Cassandra, and it'll have new memories for them all.
all
And
right.
there were 2 things from this. One, this is nothing against Cassandra, but why is Cassandra in this? Because of what?
Because most
Odyssey.
people liked her over Alexios.
No, but here's the thing. No, I don't care about that. I played
Oh.
as Cassandra. I chose her over Alexius. I wanted to play as her. That game is so fat that we already know the whole story. Like, they gave us the whole story. The DLCs that they like put in that were also like oversized, also kind of like told you everything you needed to know.
She even showed up in Valhalla.
And yeah, exactly. And I'm like, dude, we don't need more. We're good. We're good. Like that game killed me. I got so fatigued off that game. Meanwhile, Ezio, there's still a lot between like Brotherhood and Revelation that we could learn.
Yeah.
Connor, of all the Assassin Creed, all the assassins from the games, Connor is the one that deserves a second title, because I want to know what happens between him and Shay, this assassin turned Templar from Rogue. Because he's like, when he
Yeah.
kills Arno's dad, he's like, yo, Connor has already rebuilt like the American assassins and took out the Templars there. And it's almost felt like, oh, they're gonna clash. And we never got that clash between them. And I want to see Connor kill Shay. So it's like, dude, we couldn't get that. And I know for a fact that the memory for Nexus VR will not be that. They're not gonna they wouldn't do that for a VR game. They're probably just gonna be like, yeah, it's random adventure. Oh boy.
Yeah, I
Uh
could see that.
I feel like this is gonna be like almost like the Arkham VR version of Assassin's Creed, practically. Where it's not gonna be that like
Yeah, not
there's
like
not
a
gonna be
huge
much to do.
experience, but like something cool, fun thing, I guess.
Yeah. And then for Cassandra, it's like, yeah, what are they going to talk about? I don't know. What else is there to talk about anymore? Is it going to be upgrading the boat still? I don't. You tell me, man.
Yo, she fights a Gorgon.
Oh god. The game's too big. Then I'm not getting a MetaQuest 2, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll watch the cutscenes online on YouTube. That's what I'll do. Also, what did they do to Ezio? Why is this designed? What the hell did they do to him? It
I didn't
looks
even
like crap.
notice.
All right, look at Ezio in like 2 or Brotherhood, and then look at him in VR, and it's just like, dude, what happened? They just kind of combined him from all 3 games into like a monster. I don't know what they were trying. It doesn't make any sense. Whoever designed Ezio, shame on you for this game. Like, what were you thinking? Then we had Assassin's Creed Codename Jade, and we got gameplay of that. That actually looks good, especially for a mobile game. It looks good. I really hope this is a fixed price game and not a free game with a shit ton of microtransactions. I can tell you that right now. This is the one where it's going to be pretty much like.
Wow, yeah, that does not look like Ezio at all.
Do you see what I mean now?
Ugh.
Yeah. But yeah, Codename James.
Yeah, the more I look at it, I'm just like, he just looks like a generic ass dude.
Yeah. Yeah. James,
Sorry,
Codename
what?
Jade. The mobile
Yeah,
game.
I think this is another one that I was like, I didn't get the most out of because I was watching it at work. So, but like I do
It looks
remember,
good
like
for a mobile game, though.
game, it does look wicked cool. So like,
But dude, would you rather have a fixed price of like this is a $7-10 mobile game, or this is like a free to play mobile game? Give us
oh,
a bunch of money
absolutely,
throughout all the
for an
time.
Assassin's Creed game, fixed price for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
will take this. I would pay $10 for this for mobile
just
and
like
not have to pay for anything else ever again. Don't make me
let
have
me
to
use my
do.
backbone controller or pair like a Bluetooth controller to it
Oh
and
my
just like
god,
let me play it.
I'll get that PlayStation Backbone controller for this
Yeah,
easily. That would be great, actually. Yeah, I'm so down for that. That'd be great. Uh, but yeah, this looks really fun. I'm excited to kind of do like, because it's, was it Xiao Yun, the Chinese assassin that you see with Ezio and like Embers, and she has like her own spin-off game that didn't do well because all 3 of those side scrollers were not that good. Um, she's from a much
yeah, I
later
never really
time. She's
bothered with
like,
those. Chris, like, he hated those, so I was just like,
yeah,
okay, I'm not gonna bother.
and that's during Renaissance time. Even for China, like that's during the Italian Renaissance, so you can tell it's time zone. Sorry. Whereas Jade is much earlier. So that's why it's like, I guess, more of a free space to kind of do everything in and learn a bunch of Chinese history throughout it too at the same time. So I'm actually excited for this game. Sorry. Next up, Assassin's Creed Mirage. We got to see more of the story. We got to see actual gameplay of it. It comes out October 12th. And yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm actually like, this is probably the second for the fall. You know how it's like all the fall games, unless you're going to be able to keep up with them as they come out, which at our age, it gets harder and harder. I think if anything, like I'll probably play Spider-Man 2 before any, like that'll take priority once it comes out.
That's another game that I might literally just take a few days off for.
Mirage, I think, will be the number 2 game for me though. After Spider-Man's done, this is going to be the game I'm going to play.
Yeah, I wasn't super impressed by the initial reveal at the PlayStation Showcase, but after this one at the Ubisoft Forward, where they like we got to learn more about a few of the characters and just like see them interact and stuff, like it looks like it could be a really cool story.
Also,
and
his
like
power set. Did you notice where it's like it's like the Red Dead Redemption quick draw where you can all like label enemies.
That weirded me out that he seemed
That
to
was
literally
very
be able to
strange.
like teleport from person to person. So I'm
I don't
very
think that's
interested.
actual like real life teleporting when they're there. It's just
Probably not.
That's like his skill of like I said, it's like the Red Dead Redemption, just like highlight everybody when you do like the tequila time kind of thing. It's like bah, 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 or
also
whiskey.
Personally, I think one of the things that interests me the most is that unless I'm wrong, I think this game is focused on like one specific, very detailed city instead of like
they said
this huge spread out map where it's like there's some things here or there.
It's just Baghdad, I believe, and it's this. They said it's gonna be the size of Paris from Unity.
Yeah, but yeah. Seeing the different characters, like I'm very excited for this now.
Yeah, when they said it was the size of Paris, I got very excited, sheerly for the fact that I'm like, thank you for making it not Greece. Like, I'm so happy it's gonna be just like a a very set, like if it's more sandboxy than open world again, I'll be so pleased with that. Like I don't want it to be
What if
some.
they had just had Odyssey be set in just Athens or something like that?
I wouldn't complain. I don't
Yeah.
know. I think they would have had some issues just because of the architecture back then, but I honestly don't
Yeah.
know.
Remember when
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2, like Brotherhood was just literally just Rome?
Oh, and they that was like the first time they focused on one city
Hmm.
compared to the other games. I mean, remember when Brotherhood came out, or when they first showed it, we all thought it was just a multiplayer game, and then they show like the Ezio, like you know how each Assassin's Creed has like a very big cinematic trailer,
Yeah.
and they
Dude,
showed
that
the
was
Ezio
so
one.
cool.
That was the Brotherhood of all of the, because like one was cool. Two was awesome because he like pulls out the gun, and you're like, oh my god!
Yeah.
Everyone goes, he's got a
It's like,
gun.
holy shit, he's got a gun.
But Brotherhood was, God, they were also everything three and like two through three, like two Brotherhood Revelations and three are the best ones
Ezio's
by
probably the
far.
best character they've ever had.
Ezio is their number one character they've ever created for Assassin's Creed
Yeah.
by
I
far.
don't think they've ever recreated something as satisfying for me since like in Brotherhood when you got the enough assassins together that you could do one of those like arrow storms and you're just like,
So good. I mean, that's
oh,
why
it's like,
that
oh, I'm not
cinematic.
allowed in here. Guys, take care of all these guards for me.
I mean, that's why too, the trailer for Brotherhood was so dope because it's like, oh, Ezio coming alone, and then you just see like the other assassins behind him, and you're just like, oh my god! Like you guys, if you weren't or like watching E3 back then, or you weren't around back then for that kind of thing, that was incredibly hyped up when everyone saw that. That
I'm
was
gonna have to
like,
watch this trailer again
it's so
after
good.
this.
Yeah, that like that trailer, the when Ezio is fighting everyone in Revelations when he gets like caught up and they're playing like that Wool Kid song that's like I think it's called Iron, and he like sees the vision of Altair and like it's knocked down and is about to get hung, and he like somehow reverses it and escapes. Like you have that, and then Connor when he does like these people, they're fighting for freedom, but for who? And he like runs through towards the redcoats and shoots their commander with a bow amid musket fire. Like, dude, those were so great. Oh my god. You guys could see. This is why I loved Assassin's Creed. I love this franchise to death. This was one of my favorite things back then. And then now we're
It
here
literally
and I'm
used to be
like,
like I need to play every single one until probably Unity,
Unity.
because that's when they were like, we're doing two this year," and I'm like, well, I don't have time to play two Assassin's Creeds, and like I played most of Syndicate. That game was really good,
Yeah.
but
Whereas now I'm just like, give me something for the pain and let me die.
I never even got to Assassin's Creed Origins because
I
everything
never
I
got to
heard about the
Valhalla.
last three games is that they're just so long.
I'm probably gonna be like dying around Mirage because I'm gonna be like fast tracking Valhalla soon enough, being like, I gotta play it first.
If I hear the Mirage is like 15 to 20 hours, I will
I'll
lose
cry.
my mind because
I'll
that would be
cry with
perfect.
happiness. It's okay to make a 15 to 20 hour game. That's not bad. That's
Yeah.
fine now.
Yeah.
I want the shorter games now. I don't want the long 100-hour games. That sounds like torture now, please. All right, next up. Finally, Star Wars Outlaws. We got to see full gameplay compared to what we saw earlier with like just the cinematic, I guess, at Xbox.
Yeah. Very cool. I like it's like a third person shooter with like the cover system, and then like you could even get in your ship and do like dogfighting in your ship.
Once
Like,
again, from Massive Entertainment, guys that made Division 1 and 2, also making
yeah.
Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This game is coming in 2024, so they're coming out with two games like a year apart, but this is the one where they're just like, yeah, we're working on this along with like these five other studios are helping us. And I'm like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
So I assume one studio focuses on the ship combat and everything else. One studio focuses maybe
That makes a lot of
on
sense.
whatever else. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
This is probably one of the top three things I'm like most hyped about from this show.
this one was definitely really cool. That's another like day one buy. I think it's going to be great. And the character seems cool. Like, it's I forget what her name is. Once I start playing it, I'll know it. Just like Cal Kestis, I didn't really know his name until I started playing Jedi
Yeah. Once I say it
Fallen
like
Order.
1,000 times, you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. But she has like a little creature with her that seems like
It looks like
she'll
an
be a little.
Oxonal.
Yeah, they do like it's like creature companion that'll help you out with stuff. And then you have a droid who
Dude,
just
that droid
sounds
is
like a
cool.
old. He's a freaking separatist like assassin droid.
Yeah, I knew he looked familiar. I just couldn't
Yeah.
remember what type of droid he was.
So that was very interesting. Like he even if you saw there was like one of those like safety
A
uh
restraining bolt.
yeah, he had a restraining bolt on him. So I think it's keeping him from ironically enough, I think it allows him to have more of a free will
It's
and
interesting
not
because the way
revert
he
to
spoke was
his.
like he was just a normal, like a human.
Yeah. I think the bolt keeps him from reverting back to his separatist functions, probably,
Yeah, I
as
could
like
see
a
that.
regular droid in fighting clones and whatnot. So I feel like maybe at one point that might come into play. If you see that bolt, what if it like they'll either talk about it or they might be like, what if we took it off? He's just like for the separatists or
Yeah.
something.
I
Yeah.
wonder like how deep the like how different the outcomes can be for like the choices they give you because
I
literally
mean, they
the
show like there's like all these different directions you can go in a
yeah
situation.
well and they show like you could either bribe the imperial person who's like, hey, if you're smart about this, I don't need to call in my buddies or whatever. uh and I guess for the purposes of the show they were like, we'll do the more interesting thing and refuse, and then you have to like book it out of there, and like
Yeah.
I guess you could literally just pay her and get less money but just ignore this like crazy chase.
Yeah.
Like
So yeah, I think if they do choice like that, where it reminds me again, I guess like slightly a bit of like Obsidian, even though I think like this won't be as, I think the story will be like the same no matter what,
yeah,
probably, but it's just the journey to get there might be different as you go through in terms of gameplay itself, and I'm
I
totally
think
fine with that.
yeah, I think my biggest question at this point is just like how much of the Star Wars galaxy can we like freely explore, because it seemed like you could just like choose to go wherever in your ship at any time.
I heard you get to
And
go to
but I don't know,
Tatooine.
right? That has to be one of them, probably.
So what I really hope is they address everything with going to Tatooine. Like, give us all the lore of it, give us all the cool stuff. That way, people won't complain. I mean, like, basically, it'll be the thing where everyone wins. We finally learn everything we need to about Tatooine, and also they don't have to like have Tatooine in shows anymore, and people get tired of seeing Tatooine in all the shows, I guess.
Yeah.
So go all out with Tatooine in this game. Have fun with it, because I'm sure people might still complain, but I'm down for some Tatooine personally. But I think my favorite game for this showcase is probably Avatar, and then Mirage, and then Outlaws. I don't know. This is actually this is the first time I can't fit everything into like a top three, because there's also Prince of Persia, and then
Yeah.
the both mobile games for Division and Assassin's Creed. Like there's like 6 games out of what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or actually 10. 6 out of 10 were good to me. I'm not counting the Netflix show because that's a show, not a game.
Yeah.
Unless you also want to count the Skull and Bones performance, then I guess it's 9. So then 6 out of 9. That's 2/3. That's actually really good for them.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just like the way the show was structured, it felt like
Yeah, the
antiquated, I
Ubisoft of
guess.
old. Yeah, I'd give it a.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd give it like maybe a B minus. I wasn't
Yeah, I was
like
gonna go
wowed by
either
anything. I
C
wasn't just like
plus.
oh, but like
Yeah, I was either gonna do like C plus or B minus.
yeah,
So probably like
maybe
around the same as you, maybe a little bit
yeah,
lower. But yeah, and also my top three of the show is probably like the reverse order of yours. Probably most interested in Star
Star
Wars
Wars
Rebels, and then
Outlaws,
Assassin's Creed Mirage, and then oh, what did I say?
Rebels.
Rebels. Oh my god.
That's the
Yeah,
show.
Outlaws, and then Mirage, and then Avatar.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that is the Ubisoft Forward, and finishing off the Capcom Showcase, which is gonna be a lot shorter because it was shorter. There was only
I
counting it
feel
all
like
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, and out of those 9 things, I don't think I'm going to talk much about
yeah, I
most of them.
don't think a single thing was new or something we hadn't heard of before. If they hadn't already revealed Dragon's Dogma 2 at the PlayStation
I
Showcase,
feel like
that
they.
maybe would have been bigger.
I could have
But
sworn that was already revealed. Like, oh, maybe I'm thinking of
oh
Divinity
no,
Original
you're
Sin.
right. Like they literally mentioned like a year ago that it was in development. It's just we
Yeah,
hadn't seen anything.
yeah.
Oh yeah, even that.
So first off, there was Path of the Goddess, which had no release, which we talked
Oh
about
yeah,
once
and that
before.
was
That
the
was at the Xbox showcase, I think.
was it the Xbox or PlayStation? It
I
might maybe
I think
Xbox.
it was Xbox,
Yeah, and that
and
was one of the ones that I was like, it looks interesting, but I'd like to know more.
I feel like they didn't really show anything new from this. So it was like the same thing again.
No.
Yeah.
They
So
yeah, they
it's like,
talked like a little bit more, but in a way that like I didn't really learn anything new. It's I guess it's a I think they said it was like an action strategy game, which I don't know what that is.
I just know it had fun colors and no release date.
Yeah, again, it looks visually interesting. I just don't know what the game is.
Wow. Well, what is it? What is it? What does it
Yeah.
do?
It's got
It's
a lot of
like,
hands. That
yeah, we'll tell you one day. All right. Thanks for whatever that was. Mega Man X Drive Offline coming to Steam, iOS, and Android
yeah, I
this
don't
year.
that confused me
I
so
have
much
nothing
because
to
I was like,
say
why is it called offline?
because I don't. Maybe you don't need an internet connection for it.
Yeah, like I usually love Mega Man, but
I was about to say the
I don't
same
know.
thing.
This didn't do it for me.
Okay. Resident Evil 4 VR. Nothing really new there. We just knew it was coming.
Yeah, they basically just said it's a thing, and we already knew it was a thing. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
They
It makes me
showed
want
like
to play it for. I was flopping back and forth whether I wanted to buy it on PC or PS5. Once I finally got it, now I'm probably gonna lean towards PS5 because then I could just play the VR mode once that's available.
okay. And then I think they showed Street Fighter 6 being like, it's out now, and we're like, we know.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh
people are liking it.
yeah. I mean I wanted to get it still. Pragmata was delayed with no release
That
date.
was so
That was
funny.
probably the best, I will say this. That was the best way to show that they've delayed a game or anyone's ever shown to delay a game before.
Yeah, just like the little girl robot, I'm assuming, is like drawing a picture and it's just like Pragmata. It's like, and I guess it was originally supposed to come out in 2022 or something like that, and it's like 2022 is crossed out, 2023 is crossed out, and
And
it's
it's
like
question mark after.
yeah, it's like 2024 question mark, and it's like very sorry.
So
So
good.
it's like I'm not really super looking forward to this game anyway.
I
Like
mean, we
it,
don't know anything about it. We
yeah,
just got like a crazy cutscene, I feel like, before. And I just was like, did Kojima touch this or something? Like, what's
yeah,
going on here? So we gotta, I have nothing to say because I don't know anything about this game still. I don't,
yeah,
but also it's one of those crazy games from Japan that I'm also just kind of like, I just, it's not for me probably.
yeah.
I have no idea. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, what a name. The demo's out.
Yeah.
It comes out June 30th. Not interesting to me personally.
I thought it was so funny that they kept talking about how like as a ghost you can possess things and use them. Like they kept saying that interacting things is tricking things, and I just like this whole game feels like a mistranslation or something. I don't know, but like
I was kind of watching it in disbelief because I didn't think they'd talk about it for that long. Like that
that
was like
was the other thing. I
this
was
game was
like,
probably their main conversation during this showcase.
yeah, they spent probably the most time and were in most detail on this game, except for maybe Dragon's Dogma 2. But like it was confusing to me because this is not a new game. This is a re-release of a game that came out literally like 12 years ago on the DS.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like,
That also explains if it's on DS. That's why I'm even still not interested in it.
yeah,
It
like
makes
that's
all
why
the
the art
sense now.
style literally looks like it's an old DS, like pixelated DS game. And I'm just like,
Mm.
man, I'm sure people liked this game when it first came out, and that's probably why they're re-releasing it because people there was an interest in it. But
Yeah.
man, why are they spending so much time on it at like this conference?
Isn't it great?
Ugh.
Ace Attorney Apollo Justice Trilogy comes early 2024. This is 3 Ace Attorney games. I've never been an Ace
I
Attorney
think it was
person.
like a I thought it was like a uh dual trilogy of like the Phoenix Wright games and the Apollo Justice games.
Maybe that's what it was then. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought
I
it
don't
was
know.
just 3,
Like
but it said trilogy. I have no idea then.
maybe. I could be wrong. But no, this is one of those things where I'm like, that's really, really cool.
I
I
thought
love
Apollo
those.
Justice was his attorney. I don't know.
Apollo Justice was like Phoenix Wright's successor, sort of. Yeah.
Oh.
No, like I love these games. Like they're super goofy, and it's like,
I love people use it on Twitter now. They'll be like, "Oh,
oh,
Twitter, do the
it's
Ace Attorney
awesome,
thing." It's so
dude.
funny.
Like it's so entertaining. It's like one of my favorite visual novel games, just because it's like I would not imagine that a game about being lawyers and like arguing shit in court would be entertaining. But Phoenix literally basically is always defending someone who's always innocent, and they're always accused of like the most heinous murders,
It
and
makes
they're
me want.
so
I still have to
bizarre.
watch Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. I keep forgetting I
Dude,
have to
that
watch
shit's
that.
also super funny.
Yeah. God.
But yeah, like so I'm always a fan of like more Phoenix Wright. The only problem is these are re-releases of older games, which is cool for people who haven't played them. But
Yeah.
again, I was just like, man, do they have anything to show for this at this show?
No. Well, they have Capcom Town, whatever that was. I didn't click the
Yeah,
link,
I forgot about
so
that. That was a confusing thing. I mean,
it
on the one
reminds me of
hand,
it reminds me of the Devolver Digital Expo when they released that on
yeah,
Steam. Uh, but I guess this is similar. I don't really know. I just know they
I'm
said
pretty
you
sure
could
it's
play
like
like
a
Street
web
Fighter
page
2
you can go
Turbo.
to. It's just,
Okay.
I don't know. It's a cool idea. I really appreciate that they, I guess, looked up original like sketches and designs and stuff, and they're literally treating this as like a Capcom museum where you can go back and see like the original designs of their oldest things, because it's a 40th anniversary celebration type thing. Like that's really cool. It's just not really an exciting thing, I guess.
I'm looking at it right now. Capcomtown.capcom.com.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also, or captown.capcom.com. Also, com is in Capcom. So it's just now it's just nothing happened. I guess it's already gone. It just says 40th anniversary and nothing else. All
Wait,
right.
so it's a limited time thing?
Yeah,
Okay
Capcom
then.
Town is dead, everybody. More
Why?
bring out your
Okay.
dead. Bring out your dead. Capcom Town is over. 40th anniversary. Happy birthday.
Man.
And then Exo Primal, which comes out July 14th. It's coming to Game Pass and it's gonna have a season pass too.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll bother spending the time the money on the season pass, but it's
I want to
becoming
see
one
what
of
it's
those
like.
games I definitely want to, especially since
It also
it's
has a
going to
beta
be
apparently right now too.
what?
I think there's a beta that started on Friday. It might
Oh,
already
I
be
thought you said it was
over.
coming out on Vita, and I was like, no way.
Oh, dude, if it was on Vita now, it's already the best game ever. I'm buying it day one
Uh,
on Vita. Oh wait, I don't have a
uh,
Vita anymore. I need to buy a new Vita. Somebody get me a Vita, please.
yeah, it just it being on Game Pass makes it so that I'm definitely at least going to give it a shot, because it looks super fun. Just like fighting hordes of dinosaurs in mech suits. It
Yeah.
sounds absurd and it sounds awesome.
I think the only people still salty are, which I don't blame them either. They rightfully so, are all the people that have been wanting Capcom to bring back Dino Crisis, and they go,
Yeah,
"We have
I
Dexo Primal,"
understand
and they're
that.
like, "We didn't want this. We wanted Dino Crisis."
Dude, it would
But
be awesome and hilarious if they also one day did a like one of their remakes like they're doing for the Resident Evil series, but for Dino Crisis.
that, yeah, I mean, they should. Just like I'm still waiting for my frickin' Infamous and Resistance remasters, but
Dude, that would be awesome.
yeah. Then Dragon's Dogma 2. Um, yeah, they didn't really tell us anything. They just were
Yeah.
like Dragon's Dogma 2, and we went, okay.
Well, and that one was super funny to me, because if you played Dragon's Dogma 1, the things that they talked about for this were not new things. They weren't new mechanics, because like the main thing they talked about was the pawns, which is literally just like, at least in Dragon's Dogma 1, very early on when your character is like resurrected by the dragon magic stuff, basically,
Yeah.
you basically just get a magic assistant called a pawn. You make a side character pawn, and you just have a secondary character that you don't control, and you could just tell them basically how to behave and stuff. And they're just your assistant. And then they also had like a mechanic type thing where you could also like lend out your pawns sort of to your friends. Like basically they mentioned you can have two side pawns as
Yeah.
well. And those you could either get from like a random pool of pawns or like you could use your friends' pawns and then
They
something
said you can your friend's
yeah,
pawns.
you basically would get your friends like experience and stuff if you use their pawns and shit like that. And so I just thought I was like the whole time they're talking about it for Dragon's Dogma 2, I was just like, man, this is also like literally nothing new. It's literally just, hey, if you play Dragon's Dogma, the same shit's gonna happen in Dragon's Dogma 2.
You will also contract Dragon STD and turn into Dragon.
Yeah, they did mention that there's now like lion people. There's
Oh, you can
beast
fuck
people
lions now
now.
too and get lion STDs? That's crazy. All
Yeah,
right.
it's super funny because like I haven't played much of Dragon's Dogma 1, but I don't remember there being beast people. So the whole time they were showing like lion-headed people, I was just like, man, I know it's been a while, but was that there before? And
Yo,
there
dude,
was
they
like
weren't
one
lying.
line where they were like, no, there's beast people, and I was like, oh, okay then. uh,
You didn't hear what I
uh,
said, did you?
what?
I said they weren't lying.
Man. But yeah, like I was joking with you like right after this the I watched the Capcom show that the thing I got most excited for was literally just that because it was a 40th anniversary show, they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're doing a 40th anniversary sale." Basically, almost all of our shit except for the stuff that's come out in the last year is like really heavily discounted everywhere. So I
Yeah,
just bought a bunch of shit on Steam.
nice. So
I got Dragon's
your top
Dogma
game
Dark Arisen for
was
like $5.
your top game was basically a discount, and then I guess mine was
Yeah.
Exo Primal by default because I had nothing else of interest. Um,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
I'm
I guess I would give this show a D, a D minus. I don't.
yeah,
It's not an F because I didn't actively hate it, but it was not good, and it
that's
wasn't
true. I
okay. It was just not. It was just bad. I felt like it was just bad,
I'm like
but it wasn't like
going
the
back and
worst.
forth. I'm going back and forth on whether or not I want to say it felt like a waste of time or not because like not entirely,
I felt it for me
but
personally. If I didn't watch it, I would have probably saved myself some time, for sure.
yeah, like
But that's just me. Like I've never really been like Capcom doesn't really give me a lot of stuff, but also all of their DS remasters are definitely not up my alley either. So
well, I was just surprised they didn't have like anything to talk about for Monster Hunter, I guess, but I don't know.
I mean, I just wanted to see some more about Deep Down, but we'll never get that.
Yeah, like before this show, I think like a few weeks ago when we mentioned that the Capcom show was announced, I questioned at the time, like, man, Street Fighter just came out, Resident Evil 4 just came out, like what what are they gonna talk about at this show? And apparently nothing. Like it I don't know.
Okay.
It feels like they felt maybe pressured to do this show because it literally was their 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
So they were just like, well, this is kind of a big anniversary. We should do something.
All our big
Which,
games came out already, but here you go.
yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm like trying to because I'm like, oh, it's 58 minutes. We can keep this at an hour. So that's been
yeah.
Sutro Side Talk. We talk, what we watch, what we play. If you want to email us, you can at sutrosidetalk@gmail.com. Send us comments, feedback, and any questions you want us to talk about on the show. You can also subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to or watching. And if you want to really help us out, give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. I was going to say Apple Stars. Rate us on Spotify, besides subscribing on YouTube. And of course, please share out the show to everyone you can. Just let people know about it. That really, really help us out. You could also follow the show on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Sutro Side Talk, all one word. You could follow James on Twitter at InvaderJim124, and you could follow me on Twitter at GoGoComzilla. All of that is also all in the show notes. And not sure what's going to be next week yet, guys, but we'll see what happens. It'll movies, shows, anime, games. I'm not sure yet. There's a bunch of stuff we can do, or potentially do if we watch and play or do all that stuff. We'll see. And until then, though, see you guys later.
Thanks for listening.